Hey everyone, and welcome to Canine Dog Talk. When we pick a dog, most of us have a preference, right? Male or female. But what if I told you that our gut feeling about gender could be setting us up for years of miscommunication? We're going to dive into something really fascinating today, why our whole idea of dog loyalty might be completely backwards. So let's start with a quick question. Think about your dog right now. Is your pup a total Velcro dog? The kind that follows you everywhere, even into the bathroom? Or are they more of a silent guardian? Just kind of chilling across the room, but always keeping an eye on things? Seriously, think about it, because your answer is the first clue to understanding them on a whole new level. And here's the thing. This is the big idea for today. We have this tendency to think that the dog glued to our hip is the most loyal, right? And the one that needs a little space? Well, we might feel like they're being distant or aloof. But what if that's completely wrong? Their ancient instincts, they paint a totally different picture. All right, so here's how we're going to break it all down. First, we'll bust some common myths. Then, we'll get into the why, their ancient instincts. And finally, we'll talk about what you can actually do to build an even stronger connection. Let's get into it. Okay, part one. Let's start by rethinking all those little signals your dog sends you every single day. Because you know what? They're talking to us all the time, but we might be getting the translation all wrong. Okay, check this out. This is a huge one. Female dogs, they're often all about environmental awareness. She'll probably lie down where she can see you and the front door. It looks like she's just relaxing, but she's actually on duty, monitoring everything. It's not rejection, it's instinct. Now, male dogs, they're often the complete opposite. It's all about owner orientation. They're your shadow, right? Following you from room to room. That closeness isn't just because they love you, which they do. It's their primary way of feeling safe and secure. I love this quote because, let's be honest, we've all been there, right? You want to cuddle, but your dog gets up and moves to the other end of the couch. Ouch. But this just flips that whole idea on its head. It's not about you. It's about them, managing their own needs, feeling comfortable, and processing everything that's going on. They're just self-regulating. All right, let's move on to part two, where we dig into the really cool stuff, their ancient past. Because these behaviors aren't just quirks. Nope. They're hardwired from thousands of years of survival, and they're playing out right there on your living room rug. So, how do they build that bond with us? Well, it's different. You ever feel like with a female dog, you really have to, earn her trust? You're not crazy. She's observing you, looking for consistency. She needs to know you're reliable before she fully lets her guard down. Male dogs, though, a lot of them are all about physical connection. That head he presses into your leg, or the way he just leans on you. That's not him being needy. It's a closeness ritual. It's his way of literally reinforcing that you two are a team. And you can totally see this during playtime. It's fascinating. With a lot of female dogs, play is a game of strategy. You'll see them stalk a toy, freeze, and then pounce with amazing precision. But watch out, because they can get overstimulated kind of fast and just be done. Male dogs, their play can feel more like a friendly wrestling match, right? It's all about contact, grabbing, and that physical engagement. For them, it's another way to connect. Oh, and the doorbell, the classic test. What happens in your house? A female dog might hang back, right? She's not being shy, she's collecting data, watching from a distance to figure out if this new person is a threat. Her approach is super deliberate. The male dog, though, he's often right there at the door, sniffing, looking, trying to figure out who is this person and what's their deal. It's all about immediate investigation. So next time you have guests over and your girl is watching from the hallway, please don't apologize and say she's shy. She's not. She is a little security expert completing a full-blown assessment of the situation. She's analyzing body language, tone, everything. She's not being antisocial. She's being smart. Okay, part three. This is where the rubber meets the road. We've talked about the why. Now let's get into the how. What can we actually do with all this information to make our bond even stronger? The key is working with their nature, not trying to fight it. First, I want to introduce a really important idea. It's called the secure base effect. You know when your dog is just kind of wandering around doing their own thing, but then they trot back over just to check in for a second before going off again? That's it. That's not indifference. That is a huge sign of a healthy, secure bond. It means they trust you're there for them, so they feel confident enough to be independent. And this leads us to a couple of common traps that, let's face it, we all fall into sometimes. For that dog who needs her space, our instinct is to go to her and force a cuddle, but that can actually make her more anxious. The better way? Just go sit near her. Let her be the one to close that last little bit of distance. And for the super cuddly dog, if we're always pushing him away, he can get anxious, thinking he has to work harder for attention. A better move is to schedule it. Have a dedicated cuddle time every morning. That way, he knows it's a reliable thing and he can relax. So, to boil it all down, here are your two game plans. If you have the watchful dog, just respect their buckle. Be a calm, inviting presence without demanding anything. Let them come to you. If you have the physical dog, embrace the cuddles. but try putting it on a schedule. That way, they learn that affection is a sure thing, and they don't have to constantly ask for it. And believe it or not, this stuff even ties into their health. This is really important. Female dogs are pros at hiding pain. It's an old survival instinct. So you have to be a super sleuth looking for tiny changes in how they move or act. And for a lot of male dogs, stress and anxiety can directly cause physical problems, like urinary issues. It just goes to show a happy, secure dog is a healthier dog. Okay, let's wrap this up with the most important things to remember. If you take anything away from our chat today, let it be this. Number one, your dog's behavior is instinct. It is not a personal review of your performance as an owner, okay? Number two, female dogs often build bonds through quiet observation and trust. Number three, male dogs often build bonds through physical contact and being close. And finally, the most important one, the goal isn't to change who they are, it's to understand them and work with their nature. That's where the magic happens. So my question for you is this. What's one small change you can make this week to work with your dog's nature instead of against it? Are you going to give your girl a little more space to observe? Or maybe schedule that 5 minutes of focused cuddle time for your boy? Just think about it. Hey, if this deep dive was useful for you, I'd love it if you'd subscribe to Canine Dog Talk. We're all about bringing you more insights into these incredible animals that make our lives so much better. Thanks so much for watching.